do Salvor's number and I'll tell him to expect a call from you, and you have a great day.
You have a great day, Jacinda, and I will speak to you soon. All the best.
Yeah, we'll speak soon. Bye.
Bye bye.
Perfect timing there.
Oh,
There we go.
Jacinda. Oh, love her. God love
It's
her.
great. Last month, though, she managed to cover her mortgage.
For the first time in
Months
and
maybe
months
a
and
year.
months and months.
Yeah, well, she's a student, though, isn't she?
She's a student doctor,
Yeah.
I think, or a student medical person. And what she's done is she converted one of the rooms in her house that had its own private entrance, like an annex on the side of her apartment. So she sort of lives in one side, and she converted the other one because she had this great idea of letting out an Airbnb while she studied, and it flopped, didn't it?
Yeah.
It flopped big time.
She was doing all the cleaning
She was
herself.
doing all the cleaning herself.
She took, what, 4 or 5 hours on the cleaning every single time?
On a studio.
On a studio.
Bless
on a
her.
studio apartment while she was studying.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Too much. So she contacted us ages and ages ago, for just advice, just support, didn't really know why it wasn't working when every other Airbnb Instagram reel says that it should be working. And we were reluctant to take it on because it was way out of area for us. It's in Slough. We've never even been to Slough.
Yep. God, if I got a map out now and said, put a pin,
I know,
put a pin on Slough.
London way, we'd sort of go somewhere over there. And it's always nerve-wracking taking on a new property, isn't it, in a place we've never been before. Well, I mean, the biggest problem is, like that conversation sort of led us to, is cleaners.
Yeah.
We need a cleaning team in an area that we've never been to before. And so we were reluctant to take it on. Firstly, because it's out of area. Secondly, it's a studio.
Yeah.
There's not a massive amount of profit in
margins.
it.
Profit margins are slim. And as you said on the phone, the cleaning cost has to be correct.
Yeah.
Has to be accurate. But also, like we said the other day, the cleaner is one of the most important assets of the business because they are in there every single day. It affects reviews. It affects guests' experience. Day in, day out, they've got to be reliable. They've got to be
flexible.
Good. Yeah, flexible. So, it's great. It's great that she's found someone as well.
Well, hopefully we'll try it out.
How much was the other cleaner?
45 no linen.
45 no linen. We've got now 45 with linen. So fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
As well.
That's a big change.
So for her now, she's been with us. So yeah, we were reluctant to take it on. Firstly, out of area. Secondly, even if it did extremely well, we're still only going to earn 100 quid a month off it. 150 quid a month, if that. So we really did it because we felt so sorry for her. Because we thought that we could maybe give it a shot for her and help her out to see if we... Because remember, just to remind everyone, really, we only take a 10% commission on revenue, which means if a studio is likely to revenue around about, 1,500 a month, maybe 1,700 a month, $2,000 for an amazing month, that's 200 quid for us. To deal with how many guests in a month? 16?
Well, in that studio, could be as many. As many as 16. Yeah.
That's 16 guests asking, "What's the Wi-Fi?
Where's the parking?
Where's the parking? Have to use the kettle."
16 responses back. Have you read your check-in message? Come
on. So not 200 quid's not to be sniffed at the end of the day for being able to run it from my phone, but it's not our biggest earner, and it's never going to be. So we took Jacinda's property on because we really felt for her and we wanted to make it work.
But we could see the potential, though, couldn't we?
We could see that there was potential there, but what was she doing wrong? Why wasn't it making money? Well, the styling.
Yep.
It looked like, not to offend poor Jacinda, but it did look like a student dormitory room, didn't it?
Yeah. But it didn't come across well on Airbnb.
It didn't come across
when we looked
well.
at her listing.
Yeah.
I think it was incorrectly listed as a 1-bedroom apartment when it's a studio as well.
Yeah.
So there was that. The photos and even the photo angles.
Yeah.
Of course, the decoration didn't help, but the photo angles as well. It just didn't tell the story of the apartment.
Or it didn't give an experience. And that's what guests want. They want an experience. And you can make an experience out of just a studio apartment. And, you know, the reason that when we say it wasn't styled very well, if I just break that down to what that actually means, there was no colour on the walls. There was no colour on the bed. Hang on, there was no colour.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you said it was a student apartment, you know, like a student dinner of just beige. It was that, though, wasn't it? Bless her. It was. And the thing is, it takes someone else's eye to see that.
Yeah, it does.
You know, because she created a fantastic space, and you know, you've always got to be careful when you're critical of someone else's space, because you put so much into it.
Yeah.
But if it's not your thing to style, or it's not your area of expertise, then you can miss a few tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why she cleverly reached out and brought us on board.
And she was very reluctant to spend the money on staging because she'd already spent a lot of money doing the conversion to make it into the space that it was. And she was trying to say, well, I know that we can get a stager in. And I think the stager only cost, what, £1,500? I say only, that's still a lot of money. But she was saying, you know, could I just buy this wall art for £25, or can I change it this way and that way? And I really pressed with her that it needed to fit into our brand, and therefore it needed to be done properly. And when you do a proper job, and when you do things properly, it pays off, and it is paying off.
Well, if she has another couple of months like she did in June, that 1,500 gets paid off in about 2.5 months.
Yeah,
so it's well worth the investment.
And while she's continuing to study now for the coming years, then it's going to support her in her studies. 100%. And her initial idea of being able to use what she has around her to make money so that she can achieve what she wants to achieve will pay off. Yeah. And I'm so pleased for her. Yeah. Even though we haven't really earned anything apart from, you know.
Yeah, but we take so much pride in that. We've taken someone's property that they've taken it so far, and they know that it can do better, but they can't do it by themselves. And then they instruct us, and we take it to the next level. So it's
no, I agree.
It's more. It is more building the brand than, you know, because at the end of the day, if she says, look, guys, it's not working, and take it off. Financially, it's not a big hit at all, but it's worth more than the financial gain.
It does,
to us, isn't it?
Like that, and that's really soppy, but
no, but it is. It is though. But look how much we're talking about it now. No, we're not. No, of course.
And that's really difficult coming from where we are as teachers, because we've worked so hard as teachers for years and years and years, and given so much of ourselves and our free time up to help
working for free,
working long weekends, marking papers, planning extracurricular. All of this is, you know, the teachers that we were and the teachers that we are. Now to say, well, everything that we do needs to have a price tag attached to it is a really difficult mindset for us to send shift to, isn't it? Really difficult mindset. But what we were able to do for Jacinda not only was to change the styling of the property to make it much more appealing and a much more experience. And to be honest, what did it take? Wallpaper, fake plants, a little bit of colour, and a rug.
And the photos.
And some good photos. We were then able to put it under our brand.
Yes.
And I think that made an enormous difference. Yes. Because remember, again, yesterday, we got our superhost status. Again.
There we go.
Which I was nervous about. I always get a bit nervous about it, but we were able to do it.
There's so many good reviews there.
There are so many good reviews.
Quick responses.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we stuck at 4.87.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got to stay at 4.8 overall, which is, with 48 properties now.
You think that that's very close. It really isn't very close. It really isn't very close. Honestly. Honestly, that's not very close. In the whole world of averages, it's not very close.
Well, thank God we got you for the numbers, because to me that feels really close.
Okay, well, I'll let you continue to think that then.
Yeah, because but it's good to be on. It's good to have sort of a standard marker.
Yeah.
Because then we know what we need to achieve, and that standard that we need to aim for. And that standard means a lot to us. Like that level of service that we're providing.
Well, this is why we turn down certain properties as well. And we've turned 100%. Down a handful of properties,
100%.
quite a few. And to the reaction of investors and landlords questioning why you're not taking it on. Again, we're not in it just to grab money, because at the end of the day, we would earn money on it.
Yeah,
At
we would.
someone else's expense, and everyone should win in
Yeah.
property, and that's why we run the deal analysis, and that's why I ask for rents, bills. That's why I ask for like as much detail as possible, so I can run it through our system, run it through our spreadsheet, and make sure that they earn money. Remember the 2 properties that we viewed for the guys in Coventry?
Yeah.
Remember those 2? First one was lovely. Second one was okay.
Okay, it looked like a
Yeah, I'm being
cracked in.
polite. Come on now, I'm being polite. But the thing is, they were making a little bit of money on it, and I ran the numbers and what have you, and it just wasn't profitable for them. We would have actually earned, I don't know whether I told you this, we would have earned anywhere between £800 and £1,000 a month on it.
Well, why?
But,
yeah, okay.
But they wouldn't have earned
That's so
any more.
interesting. So we would have earned more than them, but why would
course.
we have earned more than them?
Because we earn the commission off the revenue.
Yeah.
So when people book, because people would have booked them,
Yeah.
especially the first one, because the first one was nice.
Yeah, the first one was nice.
We earn our money there regardless.
Right.
Okay. And that's for our services, for putting it on our platform, for, the guest interactions, everything that we offer, maintenance, the cleaners, everything. We earn the money there. The landlords and investors get the money, the rest, basically. And there needs to be enough surplus that they make profit. And there just wasn't.
And there wasn't enough
There
surplus.
just wasn't.
Was that the difference between how much they had to pay in bills and rent in comparison to how much revenue?
Yeah.
And once you took that revenue down because of cleaning and our fee, then that figure was...
Look, those people watching this, if they're decent numbers, they'll think, right, 2 properties making about 800 in commission at 10%. Well, then that's £400 each. So each property would make £4,000 in revenue, which sounds fantastic. However, their bills were so high,
Right.
and they were too high for them to make profit.
Yeah.
We would be laughing.
Right, and that's why you turned it down.
But remember, down the road, we'd have those awkward conversations of, well, they'd be going, well, you said we'll be making profit, but we're not making profit. In actual fact, we're making less money than doing it ourselves. It then harms our brand. It gives us extra work down the line. It's not worth the hassle, and it's not fair. I think it's fair to say, look, guys, you got a great opportunity here, and like I said to them, run it yourselves, and here's how I'd run it. Here's some advice. Off you go. But we're just not going to touch it at 10%. And hopefully they haven't gone to other companies who charge larger commissions and say, can you do it, and have, I suppose, smoke blown up their arse and sign on and not deliver.
And after month 1 is always a bit touchy because building reviews, building momentum, building the algorithms of the property. By month 2, you should probably be where you should be, but you should definitely be where you want to be by month 3. And if you're not sort of hitting those initial figures by month 3, then that's when you start having really difficult conversations.
That's a general one, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions to that rule.
There are massive exceptions to that rule.
Say it, which one?
Rotunda.
There we go. That's the one I was thinking.
Rotunda. My God, weren't
Love
we
this one.
blown away with Rotunda?
So Rotunda's on the 18th floor. Fantastic views. What was it? The first week, we almost completed the month of bookings. So in any property, we're like, ooh, it's too cheap, if you're filling up. And it wasn't necessarily cheap, but maybe it was too cheap for where it was. So I think they made, off the top of my head, close to about £4,000 in revenue, which is fantastic for a 1-bed.
Yeah, so the
with
Rotunda,
no parking.
those are people that maybe outside of Birmingham, they're not sure of the Rotunda. It is a round building. There used to be offices about, 15 years ago? And there was an investment opportunity for people to buy an apartment within the Rotunda. And these lovely landlords, these people now that came to us that we now know, Richard and Sharon, lovely, lovely people, they queued up to put their life savings into what was considered to be the investment opportunity of the century, didn't they? And they were successful, and they bought a 1-bedroom flat inside the Rotunda, and they were buzzing. And did they say that was about 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think they
3
said,
years
yeah,
ago?
yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. And unfortunately,
Well, yeah. I mean, before they got in touch with us, it was empty for 2-3 months,
empty
and
for 2 3 months.
was costing them.
It was costing me a lot of
They
money.
didn't know what to do with it. I mean, again, the position of the rotunda is fantastic. If you're stood by the statue of the bull in the bull ring,
It's there,
you just
right?
look up,
Yeah, it's there.
and it's
Right
there.
there. It
And
is.
the view is of that angle, like, because it's a circular building, you could be facing north, south, east, west.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but they are facing out into town. You can see the bull if you look
Hey,
directly
do you know what's going to be
down.
amazing at Christmas? Because once you come out the rotunda, or if you're in the apartments, you'll see the whole of the German market. That's going to be a real sight, isn't it?
Oh, shall we put I don't know, an advert out for it? So
I would.
if you want to be in place for the German market, you literally walk out the door into the German market, which might sound great for some, horrendous for others, but you will be
You are
out the door there.
horrendous at marketing.
Oh, sorry. Well, I thought I'd give a
Stick to
balanced.
the numbers. Stick to the
okay,
numbers.
I'll
Oh my
stick
God.
behind the spreadsheet. There we go.
That's my job. My job is the marketing.
Oh,
You
crack
say-
on. Crack
you
on
say
then.
Some people might not like. You say everyone's gonna
Okay,
love it.
everyone will love it, unless you hate Christmas.
Or markets.
Yeah, or round buildings. Not
Or
for you then.
frankfurters.
Anyway, the rotunda's fantastic. It sells out well.
But why
Go on.
Rotunda is such a success story for us though is because we didn't realise the potential that it had.
True.
And I let you know, we've always said as we go through this journey, as we grow bigger, we don't know it all. We certainly want to know it all, but every property is a brand new experience for us. And we heard of one bed, it's Birmingham city centre, no parking.
Yeah, which we're like, oh, everyone's got a car. We need parking. No.
That's exactly what we were like.
Yeah. It's snobby, yeah.
Yeah,
people.
yeah, and all of this. So we took it on again to help. No real idea of its enormous potential, and
Hey, good
wow,
job we took it on, eh?
I know it is a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
job. My dad came to view that one with me. I remember my dad walking in, going, "Wow!" And you know, because it's on the 18th floor and it's floor-to-ceiling windows, you can't quite. You still have to stand like 5 steps back from the window because. Well, the window, and you can open the doors as well.
Oh, I know. I took the restrictions. I moved the restrictions. Let's get that one.
We've had a heat wave at the moment, haven't
Yeah.
we? And a guest was like, "We can't open the doors." I'm like, "Yeah, but we don't want you, falling out."
Yeah, so these floor-to-ceiling windows, they are about 3.5 meters tall, and you can move the whole window across.
And how long?
There is a
How big is the
shelf. What?
I don't know what to call it. The barrier.
Right. What do you mean? How tall is it?
Yeah,
Wide?
it only comes up to sort of waist
Yeah, it's
height, doesn't it?
only yeah, waist height.
Yeah.
But we've got
Which
a
means-
sofa in the way of one, so you can't even get to one
Thank
barrier.
God. Because
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
after a couple
The
of
other one. Sherry's.
sherries,
At
cheeky
Christmas.
vinos at Christmas, looking over at the German market.
Hmm. Well, you'd be down there surely. You
Yeah,
wouldn't
because
be
you'd
out.
have fallen down.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the door open as well. You'd be freezing. You'd turn it
Still,
into a
though,
winter wonderland in
people-
your flat.
People are people are really daft. So I was really glad I spoke to Jake about this before on like the last video. Like there's certain things when you go into a property that I can't sleep at night if I know we haven't done them. And first
Yeah.
of all, it's safety.
Mhm.
Safety is really, really important. So we screwed those windows shut, didn't we?
Yeah, the bottom, so you could still
Could
let
still
air
tilt
flow.
it, but you couldn't open
Yeah,
them.
but we didn't realise that they were obviously built-in restrictors that you can adjust, and we've adjusted them now, so you can open the doors halfway, and they are actually very safe. They're very,
Well,
very
they
safe.
must be safe.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people live in the rotunda, hundreds of guests go in there all the time. I haven't heard of anything.
Yeah, we went in, we thought, what a stupid design feature. Like we know how to design multi-story circular buildings, but
So,
yeah, it's a fantastic building.
It is a fantastic building, and the point is, people go there and they have this experience. We put a
Telescope.
telescope in, and
Doing charades. Proper Christmas it.
we put a telescope in so you can see far and wide over the HS2 and
Yeah, you can see the HS2 off to the right. You can see town to your left, right down to your right is the bull ring. Like, it's a fantastic, and I believe you get the sun in the evening as well. On that side, so it's a fantastic position. They picked a really, really
They did.
good
So it
property
turns out their initial excitement now is coming back to life, because where they were down in the dumps about spending a significant amount of money on, and I think it was like all their savings on
Yeah.
an investment that they were told was going to be phenomenal, is actually now
Yeah.
taking fruition and becoming that phenomenal investment.
But you know what's exciting for them as well, and a lot of the investors, they have on their phone access to the calendar. They can see all the bookings. They can see the name of the guests. They can see how much they've been paid, how much they've paid, and what have you. And especially for these two, there's like ping, 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 ping. Like, July's already fully booked.
Yeah.
August.
We're like early July at the moment. So
Yeah,
it's
so
already
5th of July at the moment. July's fully booked. August there's only 2 or 3 bookings in, but they're quite long bookings, as far as I've looked. But it's, in the early days, it was like 2 or 3 bookings a day for Rotunda until it like filled up. And I looked at the numbers last night because I sent all the details to Jacob for a social media post, and they're going to make more money. Oh, they have made more money in June than they will in July.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
a
really
little,
interesting.
yeah, it's interesting, but because we had the price set at whatever we had it set early on, a lot of people booked up July at the lower end of the price.
Right.
So then June had the slightly higher price, which was more of a market average. So they earned more in June than they will in July.
Because of the initial setup.
But only, I think the revenue difference was only like £400-500.
Still, you know, it's a lot of money.
When it comes up on the app, it shows up in red as a down percentage in July, which it doesn't look good when it's red.
No.
But the good red on the metrics is the number of reservations. So they've gone from, I think it was 12 or 13 reservations to 7.
That's
and
great.
that's what you want.
That's exactly
You
what we want.
Less reservations for the longer
So
period of time.
tell me your perfect calendar.
Full with one person.
Pay in.
Market rate. And that's it. Yeah, because not to take jobs away from cleaners, but cleaners are the biggest expense.
They are the biggest expense.
Rent, of course, and mortgage, but they are the biggest expense. And getting a cleaner for the right price can make or break a property. And that's why, to circle back around, that's why we run the numbers at the start.
Yeah.
Find a cleaner, or use our guys at Spotless. You know, and we know their prices, and we know then that it will work.
I'm disappointed that you just said the word Spotless, because you might let people know about our cleaners, and I wanted to gatekeep those.
I didn't say the full name.
No, we're not. We're not letting anyone know about them because they're too good.
Yeah.
Which I'm so sorry is
We'll
such
cut
a
that
shame.
bit out.
Yeah, we'll cut that bit out because Spotless cleaners the cleaners that we use. So we use a lot of various different, how can you call them, categories of cleaners. We tend to use mums.
Oh, you're letting all the secrets out of the bag now.
I know. I don't mind though, because I'm not giving any names away, and nobody's having them because I couldn't possibly let them go. But if you are looking for a cleaner for your Airbnb, and you want to use and you want a really good job, then I would look at local Facebook pages of mums who need the extra income.
100%, because when's the cleaning time going to be between check-in and check-out? That is generally the time where mums have dropped their kids to school.
Yeah.
They're obviously not twiddling their thumbs. Mums have an enormous amount of work, you know, at home. But if they want to be earning extra money, then it's fantastic picking up a clean, because generally, if they're good and they're quick and they're experienced, generally a clean can take as little as 40 minutes for the smaller properties, up to the larger ones, hour and a half, 2 hours, and it falls within that time where the kids are at school. You know,
and I think
fantastic.
Rather than using sort of big companies, what using mums does is they're much more grateful for the work. Therefore, they're much more loyal. and they'll stick with you. Therefore, they tend to do a better job than most big cleaning companies. They haven't got the overheads of a cleaning company, so their price is coming much more reasonable.
Mums care about the cleanliness, I find, as well.
Yeah,
They care.
do.
And it's like, well, if you went away and booked an Airbnb, they clean it how they would want to receive it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
See,
But
so
it's not always been the case for all properties. Even though that's our go-to when we first start setting up a property, there are times when we haven't been able to use mums because of why can't we use mums why do we use Spotless?
reliability, flexibility. A lot of our city centre apartments, because the parking's difficult. As well. I was thinking before we came in today, just sat here in a 10-minute walk radius of here, we've got 9 properties that we could reach.
God, have we?
Yeah.
We're in Digbeth at the moment.
Yeah.
9 properties.
9 properties. And I might have miscounted. It might even be 10. But at least 9 properties. And of those 9, that company do all of them.
That's incredible, isn't it?
And you say, and as well, it helps on the end of the week when we pay the cleaners that it's just one large payment going to one company.
Yeah.
Rather than 9 separate, mums or what have you. And
yeah, I suppose when you get to a certain amount of properties that you're managing, like we have now, we are 2 away from 50, or are we 48, 47?
Something like that.
We're really
I think
close
so.
to the 50 mark.
Yeah,
and it's funny, you said yesterday, didn't you? You said 2 months ago, about 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, we had about 20 properties. And you said, God, imagine if we get to 50. And it was only yesterday, the other day, when we uploaded another listing, which is the lovely Fountain Lofts, again in Digbeth. Did we realise that we're so close to 50 now? That's just...
Well, it was even when we had our own 12, I was like, oh, it'd be fantastic to get to 20. Like, I can't even imagine what that would be like, what the spreadsheet would look like, I know, you're glad I did that bit. But I just couldn't imagine what the logistics would be, where we'd be. But then we hit 20 and then we kept climbing. And then, didn't I say, it's a bit like your age. You get to a certain age and then it's like, you just crack on. Like the thing is, we had to develop all the systems as we moved on. I mean, the most recent one is numbering all the properties, isn't it? And it's very...
So that things match up on every system.
How would you even describe it? I would say soulless, isn't it? Because all of our property names are like 2 bed, looks this, da 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 da. And I was like...
Refined.
I was like, number 23. Looks this, 2 bed. So when someone phones up, because we were having the problem, weren't we? When someone phoned up like, hi, can I book your Airbnb? You're like, yes. Which one? We don't want to go, yes, we have 40 odd Airbnbs. Which one? They're like, the one in Birmingham. We're like, oh, God. Okay. Right. Where in Birmingham? Digbeth. Yeah. Okay. Which one? The 2 bed Luxembourg. I'm like, which one? Which one? So we're like, right, we've just got to number these.
Because, which one of my 50 properties do you want to stay in?
Yeah, but it's not nice for the guest phoning up thinking, they found a lovely property, Sophie's Homes, and we're like, give us more description, please. Give us more description, please. Does it have a balcony?
What's the colour of the wallpaper? What's the colour of the sofa?
So at the start of the titles now, we've got hashtag and then a number. So our VAs can find it, we can find it, and it worked literally the day that we changed it. Someone phoned
Massive
up.
Impact straight away.
And they said, can I book your property in Digbeth? I went, yes. Does it have a number at the front? And she goes, yeah, number 23. I went, perfect. Done.
Know exactly which one she's talking about.
Perfect. So it's all those systems that we put in place.
Yeah.
Or that we're putting in place that will help us grow and just smoothly transition to a larger amount of properties, you see.
And Spotless now, just to finish talking about those guys and how incredible they are.
You said their name again.
I said their name again, oops. They are 2 guys and they've got a team of cleaners, and we don't have to deal with an individual cleaner. Like you said, we've got a huge city centre monopoly now of beautiful apartments in Digbeth, some in the city, right smack bang in the city centre, some, you know, they're dotted everywhere all around the city centre, and to just have one company who is responsible for the changeover of that is just so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah.
And they're so efficient, so flexible. And again, systems. So when we get a booking, they get a text. When we get a cancellation, they get a text.
Yeah.
When we get an amendment, they get a text straight from our channel manager.
I think even earlier than that, when, say, like Fountain Loss, when we took it, I'm like, lads, new property, here's the iCal link, add it to your calendar. They're like, yeah, no worries, when's first clean? Because we always have to have a deep clean, don't we?
Yeah, always. I had to call and apologise, actually, to Spotless the other day, because I just sent them 2 new properties out of the blue and said they both need a clean Friday, without really thinking or considering that they might really be busy. Or
So selfish.
I just threw 2 new properties their way, and said clean Friday, and you know what they said? Okay.
Yeah, and
it's
you know,
just
I
incredible.
remember in the early days, we gave them 1 or 2, and then they were giving us quotes and what have you, and we said, look, we are growing really fast, especially in the city centre area. Please, I know it's cheeky, but give us your best prices, because your best prices will mean that we can grow quicker, which means you can grow quicker as well. And it was always a talk, to really come off topic, it was always a talk in the early days when we were negotiating with landlords, taking properties on. It's like, look, I know your rent is X amount. However, if we go for Y amount, which is obviously a lower amount, we have it for longer, we make more money.
Yeah.
As long as it's still within your area of profit, it would be better for you, because we don't want to be taking it on for 1 year and then realise we're not actually making enough money and then give it back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's lower it by even by 50 quid or £100, which doesn't necessarily hurt the landlord, but gives us more of a profit margin, and then we can take it on for 5 years and look, and it's so much
and again,
less
like you said
headache
earlier,
for
everyone's
the
winning then.
Yeah.
You're profiting for 5 years, we're profiting. So we're going to keep it on for longer. The cleaner's profiting, everybody's sort of winning, but these have got to be the correct numbers.
That's it. And circle back to Spotless. It's like, well, if you come down by a £5 or something per clean, we can give you 20 cleans rather than just 10 of the best ones. We can give you the other ones which really benefit from the £5 off. So we can give you more work, and you can grow bigger. And they have done since we've been using them. They've taken on a VA, and we're not necessarily dealing with just the 2 lads.
Yeah.
We're dealing with someone else as well who's taken on a lot of their
administration.
So it's great.
So it's made a difference for those guys as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased about that. But it is all about having the right people working in your network.
It's honesty, though, isn't it?
And honesty
it's
as
like,
well.
It's like, no, we're really savvy with picking people that aren't trying to make the quick buck and then move on, you know, or aren't trying to clip it. And there's a lot of people in this business, especially people who sell deals on, who will sell you like a dead horse, and they'll sell it to you for like 5-6 grand and then disappear. And we've experienced those, and it's horrible. It just puts a black mark on the whole business, the whole industry, and it's not how it should be done. Everyone should win. And if it's a bad deal, it's a bad deal. You don't touch it, you walk away.
And what can people, like investors, can become quite excited about properties, especially a property that looks really nice. And for us then to say, wouldn't touch it, can be really disheartening. Yeah. Because they may say, it's a great property, we can get this much a month for it, but actually the reality is that no. Yeah. You're not going to, and you just need to follow the numbers, not the wallpaper.
But this is it. And you know, I've been doing the numbers on deals for so long now. Remember, like, I was charging £50 a time, like, to deal with the numbers.
Yeah.
Because I know from my experience that what works and what doesn't, and not every property works, of course. Yeah. Not every property works. And we've gone back and said, look, is there any wiggle room on the rent? Because, as I've just said, even £100 off can make or break a deal.
Yeah.
And it is the difference of having a landlord's property taken care of for many, many years, or is a landlord going to roll the dice and get a long-term tenant in? And we've all heard the stories there.
I mean, let's just talk about the rental reform that's coming in now. Now, I hold my hands up. I don't know loads about it, but I know a lot of people are really scared.
Yeah.
Because it gives landlords a significantly...
Well, it's less control over their
properties and their assets. Yeah. So with the hike in mortgage rates over the last few years, it means that landlords are now... This is going to be a really, really difficult conversation for many people to listen to, I think, especially if you are a renter, or especially if you maybe you're looking for somewhere to live right now and you need to live somewhere, then I think this is really difficult maybe to understand and comprehend and get your head around. But we bought a property 4 or 5 years ago in Coleshill. We remortgaged our house, so our mortgage rate went up quite a lot. We took out a substantial chunk of money, and then we bought Penn's Lane.
Yep.
And luckily, we got a really good interest rate, and there was a decent amount of profit to be had on it. And then when that was refinanced at the higher interest rate, our profit every month came in at what, £150?
Yep.
Because the mortgage was so high. So let's just say the tenants, who are amazing, by the way, but let's just say tomorrow they stop paying rent. And then I've got a mortgage every month of over £1,000 to cover. And they say, I'm not going to pay you rent. There's nothing I can do.
Yep.
And isn't that terrifying?
Yep.
That then that bill then falls on the weight of me, you, our wage,
our family. It does affect everything, because there's a lot of landlords out there that have 1 or 2 properties, and they rely on that to upkeep the balance. There's a horrible misconception that landlords are driving around in Lamborghinis, Porsches, and have got money to burn, and that being a landlord is like growing money on a tree, and it's just not. It's not comfortable. We know so many landlords like ourselves who are still in full-time employment. You know, the one guy, Wada, that we've got a couple of his properties, he showed us 3 or 4 of his properties up and down Digbeth High Street, and we were like, "Whoa, you're balling!" And he's got his restaurant in Moseley. Moseley, if people know Moseley is booming, and it's one of the most popular restaurants in Moseley. He's still got a full-time job at the airport. You know, and if someone doesn't pay his rent, his family, it really puts a huge burden. So going for a tenant on a
massive risk,
on a short-term tenancy, huge risk.
No, a long-term tenancy. AST.
Long-term, yeah. That's why a lot of landlords are looking at the
creative options,
service accommodation model.
Because what it means is there's no tenant. You don't need to have bailiffs or people to come round, because nobody's contractually in there.
No.
And it means that your property's much better maintained and
also,
looked after.
A lot of the time, the landlord's property gets invested into from the investor, because it has to be a 5-star experience. And if your property is a bit substandard, if it's in the right area and you're asking for the right rent, someone will invest heavily in it and will decorate the hell out of it. Will furnish it, of course, and will have to look after it, especially if they put it in our maintenance. Like, you know, if a tap's dripping or something, it's done the next day. And it's looked after. Whereas the landlord, if you got tenants in there, if the tap's dripping or something's broken, like a spindle on the staircase or something, it will get dealt with if it gets mentioned. If it gets mentioned, like, the biggest thing is gardens. If there's a garden on there, tenants generally don't look after gardens. You go in and after a tenancy and it's a jungle. We can't do that. We've got a gardener who goes in every fortnight and just mows the lawns just to keep it back. Fantastic. I've never even met him. I've video called him. And he does 9 of the properties. He sends me the bill every Tuesday. I pay the bill. and he does it for a reasonable rate.
Same with the window cleaner guy. I think he does 6 or 7 properties now. Just goes around, does them all, sends us a bill, and just
But as
pay
a
it.
landlord, why wouldn't you want your property invested in, looked after, professionally cleaned after every guest?
By our lovely mums.
Exactly. Your rent guaranteed,
Mm-hmm.
and what's in the contract as well, that if it's all breaking down, you've got a 2-month notice period, or
Yeah.
1 month, or the landlords can choose, and the investor or whoever, they agree on that, and then done.
Yeah.
You're not tied in with all the reform, so of course it's
I know.
attractive to landlords, and it's a shame because it's taking properties.
I don't think we should talk about that.
No.
No, I don't know. I think that's just a real sensitive subject. It really is, though, for people who are looking for somewhere to live and then their street is full of Airbnbs.
But this is...
But that's the reality of it. It's because I know people say the rental reform is good for tenants, but it's too scary.
But the thing is, if it's good for tenants and not good for landlords, landlords will just go elsewhere and do other things, and therefore it restricts tenants.
Yeah.
It looks good for tenants on paper,
Yeah.
but in reality, the reaction of landlords were like, well, I'm not doing this. A lot of landlords are selling up as well. They're just getting rid and just like, nah, it's not for me anymore. It's not why I invested in. Especially the older generation, they're just selling up and moving on. You can't blame them.
Invested in whiskey.
Yeah, I would drink away my investment.
So tell me about, or tell us really. So Jacinda's property, just to go back full circle, was definitely the styling, but it was also the price labs and the pricing that you put on there. Like, we noticed a new feature last night, or there was a feature the other night that we noticed about. So we're deliberating at the moment. You can set it as short-term, mid-term, or long-term stays, can't you? Like, what does that even mean?
Right.
So what is Price Labs?
To go even back. Right. So Price Labs is a pricing software, and it's incredibly complex.
This is why I know nothing about it.
Yeah, and I'm probably only using about 5%, 10% of its full potential, because, to be honest, it's terrifying even for me. But I won't admit it.
Don't say that.
No, I won't say it. I won't admit it. Okay, but it's a pricing software that works in the background, that alters your pricing on because of demand in the area. It does everything that you want it to do. It's a hell of a lot better than Airbnb smart pricing, and just a hell of a lot better than anything else out there. And it's international as well. Wherever you got a property in the world, it will do it.
That's amazing.
So back in the day when we had our own, do you remember we were like, oh, we want as many bookings as possible, so we just go open up the whole calendar and anyone can book whatever. We're like,
I remember.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
But then we would get like a booking for a Thursday night 2 months in advance, and then that actually is a blocker for someone booking up the whole week.
Yeah.
And we didn't realise that until we really looked into it. So what Price Labs has got as a function is a minimum night setting, and it was a game changer, wasn't it? As soon as we changed it, the difference from 1 month to the next,
phenomenal.
Like just visually on the calendar, was huge.
Huge.
Financially, again, massive as well. So what it means then is people looking for the longer bookings, they basically get first choice.
Yeah.
And then the gaps, what we call orphan gaps, then become available, and then people can book up. So for example, if someone booked Monday to Thursday, checked out Thursday, and then you had Thursday night free, and then someone's booked Friday to Sunday, over the weekend, that then becomes an orphan gap, and then that becomes available.
Got you.
But it's not available until someone's booked up
the
longer one. So it's also got variables where you've got like short term and then mid-term bookings.
Right, so tell me about that, because I've said for ages I want to put all the properties on mid-term.
This is a stickler between us.
It's a stickler between us.
Yeah.
Because we get the most problems from guests who stay for the shortest amount of time.
Yes.
So, and they cost a lot of money because there's a clean before them and a clean straight after them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they tend to get it at a reduced rate because they book last minute, or they get that last minute early, or that last minute. So one-nighters during those orphan gaps tend to be really difficult guests, or moan about things that are way out of our control.
Oh, go on, name one. Go on. Not a guest, of course, but name an issue. They're very critical, aren't they? Like one night guests are very critical. Whereas like people stopping for any time longer, generally aren't that.
The longer amount of time they stay, the nicer the guest they are.
Yeah,
that is a really good formula for success with guest communication.
Yeah,
because they need one check-in. They get their lovely message the next morning saying, "Hope everything's settled well. Give me a shout if you need me," and then we just don't hear off them.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah.
One-nighters. Oh my God, one-nighters. I woke up this morning to 5 missed calls from 4 a.m. because they'd gone out. They couldn't come back. They got back to the apartment and the fob wasn't working on the door. Now,
the fob wasn't working on the door to this multi-story
massive complex of over 300 apartments. And
there were other people stood outside the door.
They were stood outside the door.
It's unfortunate, but we have no control over that.
Now the guest wants compensation. Now the guest wants me to find out what I'm going to do about it. And there are just like the electric access to a massive complex is so far removed from anything I'm responsible for. I just don't. I don't know if I should be. I don't know. That's a really difficult one. Yeah. Really difficult. Yeah. Come on. What do guests complain about the most on a one-night stay? They want early check-in.
Late check-out.
They want late check-out, and they don't want to pay for it.
All for free. Yeah.
And they don't ask for those things until. So the checkout for all properties is 10 o'clock, and they don't ask until probably about 10 to 10.
And you see, what a lot of guests don't understand and don't realise or comprehend is that we do have multiple properties, and therefore we've got one cleaner who will clean on sometimes up to 8 properties in one day.
That's bonkers.
It is bonkers. But
I think two of them go in and do 8 properties. I don't think one does it by itself.
Okay, but still, they've got 8 proproperties.
The team go and
so
do the 8.
If one has an early check-in or a late checkout, then you just
domino
can't.
Effect.
Got one. 3 of our properties have a 2-hour window where the cleaner goes in from checkout to check-in, and then if someone has an early check-in and someone has a late check-out, well, then that window closes to an hour, half an hour. So we just can't accommodate it. And a lot of people go, well, you could earn more money, like asking for 20, 30, 40 pound extra. It's like, it is not worth it.
It's not worth it. I would rather have a structure set up where we know the cleaning times are between 10 and 3, and that's what they're set at. I don't care if I could earn 20 quid from Roger in apartment 12. Roger needs to get out at 10 o'clock because that's the checkout time, and our schedules and our processes and our structures are set up that way. So I'm not on about, I don't care about earning an extra 20, 30
God,
quid.
remember that guest the other day said, oh yeah, I was out by 10, but we went for breakfast. I've still got the keys on me. Is that okay? And then took the keys back at 12. I'm like,
no, that's not okay.
That's not okay.
What about the guest the other day that said, I didn't realise there is a checkout time? What did you... What did you think?
What do you think? Until Christmas.
You just had the keys and could use it at your leisure.
Here's our apartment.
For as long as you goddamn wanted. Yeah, we didn't realise there was a checkout time. Apologies, we're just getting dressed now.
These are few and far between, but they're frustrating at the time, but we can laugh about them now.
Oh, just about. In fact, when we arrived here this morning, I was a little bit down in the dumps. I would even go as far as saying a little bit teary because of a few guest communications last night that have gone wrong. You know, parties happen. Let's just talk about parties.
Ooh.
Go
on.
Parties happen. And last night we had a family in one of our larger properties, 2 families actually. It may even been 3 families.
Who knows?
That turned up to a beautiful property that we have in Malvern, and they arrived full of all the excitement, beers in tow, and then another family turned up with a camper van. Wanted to just park it up on the field next to it with no prior notice.
No, didn't tell us.
Didn't tell us, and they were hoping that the guests who stayed in the camper van could just rock up into the house and enjoy food and wine and drinks till all hours. I think they were singing Two Become One at about 3 o'clock this morning. And I know all this because the neighbouring properties and the landlord have sent me a lot of messages, and they are very upset. So parties happen. We can't get away from it. Parties happen.
No,
Do you remember that one in Coventry? Where so the neighbour called you and said,
This
"They're having a
one's
party next door."
brilliant. Yeah. But hang on. We took this property on because it was a husband and wife, and they own the property.
They own the property.
They had a few bad experiences like that, with parties
Talking
and
about
stuff
Coventry?
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they, the wife was pregnant. They wanted,
Like
hands off
management.
sound. So hand it over, and they decorated the property. Lovely.
Oh, it was beautiful, isn't it?
It was really, really
Lovely
nice.
colours on the walls.
They were using one of the bedrooms as a storage cupboard. I'm like, whoa, that's
let's
crazy.
maximise this property. Let's
Put a
just
bunk bed in there. Sound done. Anyway, it was like third or fourth booking, and I remember the messages before she booked. She was like, "Look, we come in." Should I say it for? No. We're gonna have food on, and can we have a barbecue? Did you say?
Can we have a barbecue?
Can we have a barbecue?
Yeah.
And we're like, it's red flags to us. We're like, right, we need to investigate into this a bit more. She's like, oh, we're going to have music as well.
And she's like, don't worry though, it's not a party, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, it's not a party, I'm pregnant. We're like, pregnant,
yeah,
sound.
Great.
She's not going to be knocking back a few carlings. She'll be all right.
So about 9:30 at night, neighbour. They've been at it all day. The music is blaring. The barbecues have been smoking. They're having a party. Right.
Cracking video they sent, isn't it? Of just like the fence panel and do. Nice one. Cheers.
They were having a great time.
Okay.
And you could see the smoke of the barbecue coming up. I mean, they were loving life, weren't they? 10 o'clock.
It was rude not to get an invite. Let's just put that out there. Go on.
10 o'clock, still going, do. So you went round there.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you can tell on camera, but I'm not exactly one to enforce change.
Rules,
yeah.
So you knocked on the door, and the teacher and you,
hello there. What's going on here then, lads?
And they said they were having a baby shower.
Oh no, hang on. I was worried because the door was open anyway, so I didn't have to knock. You could hear the music in the garden. The house was silent.
Yeah.
I knocked on, and someone about 10 years old came to the door, and I went, "Hello, is the lead guest in around?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll just go get her." Went, and then someone came back about 15 years. I thought, "Oh God, there's just kids in here having a party. Oh my God." I asked again, "Is the lead guest in here?" And then went and came back, and then someone of adult age came to the door, and they were like, "Oh, what's the problem?" Anyway, there was a bit of to and fro, and it wasn't aggressive or anything. I was just like, "Look, we've had complaints of noise in the back in the garden, and I can hear it." And they were asking, "Well, when's the quiet time?" I was like, "Well, there's no quiet time, but you're being a nuisance to neighbours, hence why I'm here. Could you just bring the music inside?" And that was all. But yeah, they were going,
they were convinced it was a baby shower.
It was a party. Yeah, it was a baby shower. Then I saw behind this woman coming down the stairs, heavily pregnant.
Oh, so she was
heavily pregnant. And she came to the door and she's like, "Is everything okay?" And I went, "Listen, clearly it's a baby shower." And you know what? With the door open, I was expecting to smell smoke as well.
They weren't.
Because the landlord was like, "Oh, I bet they're smoking inside." Nothing. No one was even drunk.
And
anyone who came to the door.
No, they were great. They were lovely. They were just, they were celebrating the impending birth of their...
Just celebrating really...
But they were celebrating really hard, yeah. They were really excited about this baby.
Yeah.
And then you knocked on the neighbour's door and they were...
Oh, God, I
drunk.
went... Yeah, I went into the neighbours and they had music blaring. They were in their living room, couple of cans down. They didn't hear my first knock. Although I could see them through the window, so I had to knock on the window and wave. About 10 o'clock, and like,
How funny! I think parties can take varying forms of different contexts. It's when they become incredibly disrespectful. That's the problem. and they weren't. They turned the music down and they were absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And like last night, all these families turning up to meet up in Malvern, then had seen each other for months. The kids were really excited. Now I've got to go deal with that this afternoon because to the neighbours they're having a party.
Yeah. And to everyone else, it's just
The people involved in there.
It's a lovely time. It's not.
No,
a party.
it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And we've taken the security deposit and
The thing is that let's talk about actual parties.
Yeah.
Like there has been actual parties, and we've got so many processes to mitigate it.
So what we were having, especially with our city centre properties, on one-nighters, Booking.com, people turning up and taking drugs.
Yep.
Which was really horrible.
Which is the biggest thing now. I'm going to show my age now, and like I'm so uncool. I don't even know what the drug is, but it's out the canisters, isn't it? And the balloons and that, and it's everywhere. You see the canisters on the roadsides and what have you. It's everywhere.
I don't even know how they take it.
To have, well, I don't know.
But they can't just have one when.
They come with boxes
they
of
come
them.
with boxes of them.
And
like we used to turn up with boxes of beer. People
they're
are
not
now turning
light
up with
as well.
boxes of laughing
Yeah,
gas.
to get rid of them. They're not like these canisters are really, really heavy. When you've got 4 or 5 boxes.
And you know that because you've had to empty bins.
Oh man, I'm glad I got the truck. I have to every now and then chuck bin bags of all sorts, especially with the bin strike at the moment. Anyway, I digress.
So we were having a huge problem with one-nighters, Booking.com, new properties it tended to be, and people, taking these.
Yeah, so
taking
it was
drugs.
bookings, either same day bookings or the next day bookings. One-nighters, they would say 2 or 3 people on the booking, and then like 10, 12 people would land. And we'd only find out if a neighbour gets involved, or even the next day the cleaner goes in and sends us photos that they've had a party in here. Most of the time, the property's okay.
Yeah.
Most of the time, nothing's damaged. Property's okay. It's just damaged reputations with neighbours, and we can normally fix that. But what we've found is, especially with Booking.com, there's less protection with Booking.com. So we've had to take our own steps, and Booking.com, fair play to them, they allow you to take a security deposit yourself, because we did use Booking.com's function of the guest paying Booking.com for the security deposit. But we did that. They had a party. We showed the evidence, showed the photos, and got nothing back. No compensation back. And they'd made damage. So we were out of pocket, and we had to take that on the nose because it was our fault as management, not the investors.
Yeah.
Fine. We're big enough to accept that. So then we're like, right, we need to be a bit more strict. So what we've done is we're going to take £150 deposit, regardless of the property, up front before they even get check-in details.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we know that they are serious. So we've had a few cases where someone's phoned up and said, look, I can't afford the £150 deposit. Okay, fine, cancel.
Yeah.
We'll give you a full refund. Just cancel, and then we'll go our separate ways.
But it's alarm bells when
commitment.
people book and then they see deposit required and then they cancel straight away, and you think, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, so it works.
There
have been occasions where they've paid the deposit, they've caused damage, not necessarily through a party, and we've had to keep either partial or sometimes full deposit.
And you are really fair with that deposit, like.
Yeah, you tell me off.
far
I'm
too
lenient
much.
on
For
some.
example, like somebody broke something, and I think, what did they break? The chair, or maybe I can't remember, but I think it was like something small. Anyway, you charge them for exactly the amount that you had to replace it for. You didn't charge for your time. You didn't charge for the inconvenience for the cleaner. You didn't charge for the admin involved.
Disposal. Like there's so many things, and guests don't realise that. Especially,
I think it was the plants in Rotunda. I think somebody
it was.
There
it was.
and they broken the plants, and we needed to replace them. I think it was about £25 to replace them, and you charged them exactly what the Amazon said, £25. I mean, they were plastic plants. I mean,
and they smashed champagne glasses.
They smashed champagne, and I think that was so reasonable of you, because I would have charged them my time, disposal.
Yeah, and you're right. I should have, but at the same time, I think to save the argument and to get a decent review as well. Again, like the reviews the reviews are valuable.
Yeah. I know.
So there's got to be an air of discretion. Now, some
Yeah.
people, and fantastic guests, if they break something, they'll hold their hands up to
Yeah.
it. I mean, that sofa, let's just address this one. Sofa in our boiler house lofts in Coventry. The guest left, the cleaner went in, the cleaner said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure the sofa's broken." Jeez, the sofa was like that.
Yeah. The
Sofa was
wooden
like that.
slat had
The
literally
wood,
been snapped.
it was a 4x2 wood IKEA sofa and had been snapped. And then when I went to the property that night, it wasn't a snap of someone jumping on the sofa, which is what you'd expect. It was a break from the front. So the only way of doing that is either falling into it or booting it. And because the sofa bed slides under, I would imagine he's kicked the sofa bed in and broken it. And the thing was, he was communicating with us like, throughout the whole process, and didn't mention it, which shows guilt, in my opinion. It's a break that you would have noticed. It's definitely a break that you would have heard. It's like the wood is about that high and then about that thick.
Yeah.
Like it's a tremendous amount of force that you would need to snap that
Yeah.
right in the middle. So you would notice, and he didn't.
No.
So I had to replace a sofa within 4 or 5 hours, and it was replaced and perfect again for the next guest to check
And
in.
now
And
those sofas are how much in IKEA? About £900.
no, 700.
£700. And we got a second-hand one.
Yep, I replace because it's IKEA. You can replace just the parts. So, but it cost us £200. We asked him for the money. He said no. He said no. I'm like, how can you not? But I was even reasonable. I said, call me, let's sort it out, because I know that this is...
And that £200 was for the sofa, not your time going over there and fixing it, not
yeah,
the disposal
I
of the old
literally
sofa.
bought the sofa for £200. Yeah, not going and picking it up, buying it, strapping it to the roof of the truck, filling it up, going over, replacing, disposal, taking the old stuff to the tip. Like, there's so much in there. It's just £200. And look, if he'd called me, which I asked him to call me, I would have said, look, let's go halves on it.
Would you have said, let's go halves?
Yeah, I know. And said, look, whack a 5-star review on it. Let's go halves, because £200 is a hell of a lot of money for something that might have been an accident. And you know, I was compassionate as well, because he had a newborn baby as well. I was like, look, you've just paid for a 2-3 night booking, and I'm asking you for 200 quid extra. I think you should pay something towards it, and be fair and meet us in the middle, because it's not an accident. It might have been an accident, but it wasn't like that beforehand. It was force, and it was bang out of order, and we can't rent the place with it like that. So
just to finish off then, I know we haven't got much time left, and we've talked loads about more than I thought we were going to actually.
Do some funny stuff.
No, I don't want to do some funny stuff, even though we've got some lovely stories written down about
We'll come again,
about sort of guest complaints and queries and sort of the reviews we receive. Like, what is the reality of running an Airbnb business?
Is that the question?
That is the
question. That's very open.
And I think it is quite open, but the reality of this business is that we live and breathe.
Oh, it's 24/7.
24/7.
It's 24/7. It is not passive income.
Not at all.
At all. Not in the slightest. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Which parts are rewarding? Sometimes I struggle to see the reward.
No, it's true. It's true. But like, it's rewarding when investors like Jacinda gets a mortgage paid, and her property's gone from from level 1 to level 5, kind of thing. And we've added value, and that's rewarding. It's rewarding when guests say it's a fantastic experience, I'm going to come back, give us a 5-star review. It's rewarding in that. It's very disappointing when guests nitpick.
It is.
Nitpick at things. We've had guests like go in, and there's a small amount of guests that will go in, and I really want these guests to think about their actions when they go in and they check everything. They look for dirt. We had a guest in the Cardiff flat, and everything was perfect, but she took a photo underneath the cover of this plug hole in the shower, and there wasn't hair there or anything. It was just a small black ring that you can't see because of the chrome cover, and everyone know their like shower cover. And she said, "Oh, that's dirty there. I think the whole bathroom's dirty."
Okay,
Like,
the other day,
bang out of order.
there's crumbs on top of the toaster. How do I know the bed linen is clean?
How does it link? How? Yeah, fair. No, that's fair. Yeah. Remember that guest a couple of weeks ago? He said, "Oh, lovely stay, lovely apartment. However, the local area isn't great." And we're like, "What do you mean? Could you please send us photos?" He literally went down the road, 4 doors down, took photos of one black bin bag that someone had in their front garden behind their front wall, and was like, "Oh." Like, come on. No, but it's disheartening because that was one of our personal properties, and we spent a month and a half doing up that property, like in our time after school, spending our own money. And he goes,
"You got to look at it from the funny side, because if you
"No,
don't,
but he asked for money back as well."
he has somebody back." What about the
I said,
one that said,
knock on their door, mate, and ask for money back.
what
Oh,
about
ridiculous.
the guy who stayed in the bunk beds in Cardiff,
Go on.
and he sat him in the morning and whacked his head,
Yeah.
and he asked for a full refund.
Yep. So,
He didn't realise how close the ceiling was to the bed.
literally. Right, and again, one night booker.
One night back.
One night booker, and I spoke to his mate, the guy who booked it, and even his mate was like, "Yeah, he works in the hospitality business." And I went, "So what's he trying?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's just trying to get money." And I went,
Yeah.
"Just out of curiosity, how tall is he?" And he goes, "Oh, he's 6'5". I'm like, "What's he doing on the bottom bunk?"
Top bunk.
No, he was on the bottom bunk. He was on the bottom bunk, and he sat up in the morning, bumped his head. No mark or anything on his head apparently, but he bumped his head. Can I have a full refund? I mean, come
Ridiculous.
on.
Yeah, absolutely absurd. And they're wild. Guests are wild.
Few and far between.
Few and far between. So it can be really difficult. Why do you think guests do that? Do they think that we've got, like you said earlier, this misconception that landlords and property owners are driving around in Porsches and chucking money out the windows
Maybe,
when
but
they fancy it?
there's still, I think, the culture of like where there's a blame, there's a claim, or if
Yeah.
there's a little problem. Because what we find is if a guest enters a property and they see one little thing out of place, they will find and look for everything else and will let us know everything else. And whilst it's helpful to let us know maintenance stuff or things out of place, I don't think it's okay to take the approach that we've gone out of our way to do that to them.
No.
It's not a personal thing. It's very helpful, and we do ask guests to let us know of any issues, but to weaponize it and to use it to get compensation. But like, we're very fair. We will give compensation when we think it's deserved. Because let's be honest, it can't be perfect every single time. That's unfortunate.
It can't. We had
but we go
our
as
systems,
close as possible.
Our systems let us down last Sunday.
Yeah.
And our cleaners didn't get the notification she needed to clean. Guest turned up, not clean.
This is it. If a guest, and you know what, if a guest turns up and clearly the place has not been cleaned, something has gone wrong down the line, and that's happened once, twice in the 4 or 5 years, and we've had the cleaner over in an hour, and sometimes two cleaners over in the hour, and it's been rectified. But then for people to go, "Oh, I need £200 back."
Yeah.
And
I need
it
my
was
full
one.
stay back plus compensation they ask for. Or I need...
we are really sorry for the inconvenience.
Like, it was just a mistake. And you just have to accept that, that we use systems and softwares that 99.9% are like really reliable in order for us to maintain this quality service. But this one time for this really difficult guest. What about that time? I don't know if we should say this on camera. We've got like 4 minutes left.
Give it a go.
So we had one guest stay in Cardiff and he saw a rat at the bottom of the garden.
Right.
And he called Airbnb and Airbnb said, "We're going to shut you down." Do you remember?
Yeah.
We're going to cancel all future bookings and we're going to shut you down. Remember that?
Yep.
And how awful that was. And he said, "I only called Airbnb to let them know."
Horrendous.
It was horrendous.
Horrendous.
There wasn't a rat there.
No.
Such thing's a rat.
No.
It was a garden. There's it's a big garden and wildlife's everywhere.
No, but
and he thought he saw a rat.
The thing is, we had to then pay for pest control to come in, and they even said there is no evidence of rats in here. There's nothing gnawed. There's no burrow holes. There's no evidence of rats coming from neighbouring countries' gardens. I don't know what he's on about.
Just to call
Awful.
Airbnb to let them know, we had to get Rent-A-Kill out in less than 12 hours, upload all the evidence that we'd done, all the reports. It cost several £100s. Otherwise, Airbnb were going to cancel every
And
booking.
quite rightly
coming
so.
up.
Airbnb have to go through that process.
Yeah.
But come on, and they went to Airbnb first rather than coming to us. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another thing. There's a tiny minority, I guess, that will go and complain to Airbnb and get them involved. Just come to us. We can sort out 99.9% of problems.
So I think for just the last, literally 2 minutes, we've talked about all the issues that we've had and how we try our very best to appease all of our guests. But what's the point in doing all of this, personally for us?
Well, we know we use Airbnb and service accommodation a lot for family getaways, and we know that it's important to have a lovely experience and to have a lovely space to share that time together.
That's the one question, yeah. But why are we working on this business? Personally, for you, what's the point in this business for you? It's got to be a point, otherwise what's the point in doing it?
True. The long-term stability financially for the family.
For who?
For our family. And that's why it's all very personal. And it shouldn't be, but it's a family business at the end of the day.
Personal.
Your parents are involved, Jacob.
Yeah.
It is family at the core of it, and we're very proud of that. Very proud of that. And when people nitpick and take it personally that we've almost done it against them, it's like, well, we haven't at all, and it's really unfair that you're taking that stance and backing us into a corner just so you can get an extra 50, 60 quid back.
Lady that left a 1-star review because of the iron.
Oh,
she wanted
disgusting.
£1,000 to remove that review.
Disgusting, isn't
No.
it? Yeah, disgusting. She said that the iron's at least 2 years old. Mate, we've been running the property for 3 months and everything was brand new.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
the iron had scratches on it.
It is for the family. But what do you want to do, for the family? With the money?
My end goal is I want one property that we own. It doesn't have to be out in the country or in the city. It just needs to be a property that we own that will stay in the family for many, many years. And it's the focal point of the family. Everyone has Christmas there. Everyone has holidays there. When the kids are away at uni, they can come back. They can, there's either an annex or there's multiple bedrooms or side. That's what I want. The place that everyone can congregate or feel safe. That's all I want. I don't care about a car. I don't care about that. I will drive around in a rickety truck for the rest of my life. I want a focal
We are driving
point.
around in a rickety truck right now. Just
I love my rickety truck. You hear me coming round the corner. It's brilliant. Yeah, we need a new truck.
We do need a new truck.
So, but yeah, I want that focal point. What about you?
I don't know. Honestly, experiences,
Yeah,
safety.
you love holidays.
We love
and
holidays.
Those experiences.
Love holidays.
And that's
experiences
why
and holidays.
Airbnb is like an our experience. When we go to other Airbnbs, we're like, oh, that's interesting the way they've done that. But we also know we're going to leave a 5-star,
Even
almost
if
regardless.
it's disgusting there. Yeah.
Almost regardless, because we know that it takes effort and it's not always going to be perfect,
and it
and
means
that's
so much.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think that's a really good place to end.